Okay, today's video we're going to talk about a video ad technique here that will often, very often, most likely increase the ROI of your video ad campaigns you're running on YouTube ads or elsewhere by double or even more, as I'm going to show with the examples here of where we did this for our clients at our own advertising firm and companies that I personally also run and manage and investor in and as well. So with that said, when I say how this is done with having usually have a script on a video where I have a narrator explaining the features, benefits of whatever product you're selling, using more than one speaker to read that script, sometimes 3, 4, 5 different speakers in some of you guys' cases, will get by far more results. And that's what this technique is that I'm talking about on today's video that will increase your video ad results. The reason why, by the way, having your script read by multiple people is actually, I don't have any proof that this is the case. Haven't run any user studies to ask why people, perhaps bought at a higher rate or seem to like the video ads that we have. I've drew my own conclusions about this, and by the way, if you ask customers why they buy, they're going to lie to you anyway. But I think what this has done is it psychologically gets people more than anything else to think that just by hearing what you have read and said by multiple people, seems like there's a consensus around your brand versus having one person trying to sell it. So automatically it obviously seems like there's at least multiple people working at this company. If it's not clear of that already, but just seems like that what you have, it can be more trusted because multiple people saying it. Psychologically, as you know, if you hear something somewhere and then later on you hear it somewhere else by somebody else, you're more likely to believe what the second person said because you heard it one other time before. This, I think, works off of the same effect, but you can draw your own conclusions as to why it works. All I'm telling you here is that it does usually work, and it works for other people as well, because I've done my research on this topic, and it's not just us that's able to get this to work. So I'll tell you how to do this strategy for yourself, and then you can decide why it works. The important thing is that it'll get you more damn results on your campaign, and so you don't really have to know why it works. So with that said, I'll get into the content, explaining how you do this strategy, some examples of that, and then of course the results we got for different company types, which I'll also include in the video. So to start off with, most ads you see online usually only have one narrator. Why? Because it's not apparent that the narration or the script should be read by multiple people, and then obviously that would add unnecessary costs. So if you're not aware of what I'm telling you here today, then why would you spend extra money to have two voiceover actors, is what they're called, read your script that you're going to have on your video ad, on your commercial there, when you could just pay one? Even though each video voiceover actor would only read, like, let's say 15 minutes of a script, you're basically going to usually pay more to have two people read 15-minute parts of your script versus one person reading the whole 30 minutes because of the bulk purchasing. And even if not, and even though it might be only marginally more expensive, it's more of a logistical problem and challenge itself. Obviously, even though the logistical challenge is almost none, especially when comparing the size of the gain and being able to literally double your ad performance with this technique. So we found through our own testing of video advertising, which we do a bunch of at our advertising firm now. We run heavy YouTube ads at our firm. Mixing it up with the narration, once we found out that this works for other companies, we started doing it for ourselves. And finding out that the two people reading the script on our videos work even better than one person most of the time, particularly leading with the male voice in particular, and then switching over to a female voice, either starting at the middle or sometimes at the very end of the video to mix things up. To give you an example here, we had a medical treatment that, they do telehealth type things, basically where, if you don't know what telehealth is when you meet a doctor, instead of going into a physical clinic, you can do that consultation through the web. They were doing it it was a real doctor doing it for an actual medical treatment that was done through the computer. And when we had the video script read by a male-only voice, we got an average ROAS in that case starting out with 394%. Once we switched it up to having two people understanding that this works and understanding, because usually the first thing I can do with the video ad to get results now is, oh, they're only using one person to read the script, let's switch that up to two, automatic more profits. And then we can get paid. So we switched it up to having two voices, and then also understanding that due to the consensus factor, the more different the voices are, the more likely it is to work. We did one male, one female, and then went from a 394% average ROAS to within 90 days to get enough data to really know this was a statistically significant result, went to 551% ROAS, which is not double, but it's not insignificant either. That's about a 40% increase there. But with that said, going to a female-only script just to test that out as well, because why not try that out as well? Maybe for a medical product it will work different. Different markets do different things. We went backwards in the results and only had a 207% ROAS there, running it same script. That's all we did is changed it to a female voice. Went backwards from 394% ROAS to 207% ROAS. And the script, by the way, would basically pitch a quick test to see if the service that the medical professional provided could help them or not. That's how that video ad went, which, by the way, a lot of you guys need to start doing something like that. When you go right at your consumer or potential prospective consumer that you want to buy with, here's the product, here's ultimately all about it, you're not going to sell nearly as well as finding a creative way to get people's attention through revealing information itself and then revealing what the solution is, the product or service. Lead with what the potential results are and then go with your product pitch. Especially like in this instance where you could say, you want to find out if you can get your medical problem fixed? Click here to see if you can or not. If you can, it'll fix your problem and you'll never have that problem again. It's a quick 15-minute test. You direct them to a landing page. They do that little bit of test right there, questionnaire, and then bang, you got the so-called lead, if you will, which then you can then sell the service to. Or it could be done through a individual, like a video, a quiz, but instead of like a drop-down type quiz, you can now do video quizzes where it asks you, as a person's talking to you on the video, and then you have to click on the video, one or the other. Or you could do, to find out if this test will work for you, you can get them like on a webinar. There's different options that are always available to you to increase your response rates. But anyway, that's kind of what they were doing there. If you were curious as to know how you can kind of match this up and see how this is going to work for you. All you need to know though is you're using one script, you're getting results with that. You'll automatically almost always get more results. Switching up how many narrators there are, particularly when you go more different as what were found, i.e. male, instead of just doing male-male, you usually get more results with male-female as we found. Or if you have an old person, try a young person. Or if it's a person with a southern accent, try also add in an American accent, not just southern or old, as per what we found and what advice I can give you here. The reason why, by the way, again, like going back to the start of the video here, the reason why I think this works is because it makes it seem like there's a consensus around your product or service. People are psychologically, through evolution, trained that the more often that they see something, the more likely they are to put stock in it. It's why in marketing there's the so-called power of sevens that says you'll make more money advertising to fewer people more times than a greater amount of people only once. This is true in almost every form of advertising that you can do. So this isn't exactly that, but it rhymes. It sounds like, and the reason why the power of sevens work is because the familiarity, and your brain is trained to only take things seriously and honest and accurate if they've heard it multiple times. Hearing somebody say what you're saying, even though they're not saying the same thing, but multiple people saying it, it seems like you're getting that consensus effect. Or as per what I'm concluding out of this as the psychological reason why this actually increases your results. The other reasons why, by the way, I think this increases your ROAS when you have more than one person read off your script is it keeps your attention more throughout the video, because the main thing, if you're making a YouTube channel, watch time's important. And how to get people to have more watch time, you can see how all the other creators will say doing quicker switches, changing the visual. You'll see the big creators who usually only have something on a screen 3 or 4 seconds or 10 seconds, then they'll switch to another thing on the screen and then switch, because you'll get people, they'll keep people's attentions more so, or for a longer period of time, not just having the same visuals on the screen for a long period of time. Switching up the visuals more often will keep the person engaged longer. And so if you're switching up the voice, going from that general idea and principle, it will keep people's attention throughout the ad longer. And obviously, if you can keep them engaged longer, more people will reach the end of the video. The more people that reach the end of the video, the more people will click through the link at the end of the video, and the more money you will make. So I think that also plays a factor, as well as female voices by themselves are more trusting, and male voices are more official sounding. So it kind of having male, female, like in the exact example with the medical treatment I mentioned, you're kind of basically getting the best of both worlds, given there's certain benefits to a male versus a female voice, instead of just trying to use, and as you've seen here, combining them, if you will, actually got the best result of all. So it took even though the female voice doesn't get you greater results, when you take and you combine male and female, you get better results, because you're taking, I feel, the best of both, of what the strengths are individually, and then putting them together to get a bigger overall benefit. So that's my thoughts on it. But like I said before, why something works, do we really need to know? And of course, it's nice to know so that we can pivot and make even more from what we know. But that's the best I could tell you from doing 15 years of advertising for companies that I run and clients I help. That said, okay, also, you don't just have to go and think the only thing that's going to work is having male and female. One half of the script written by male, one half by female, which, by the way, the female only part on the script, I can't remember if I mentioned it for sure, but the female part was only the ending part of the video. I mentioned before you can do like 50-50, first half by one person reads one half, the other person reads the other half, or you can like just have somebody at the very end of the video, switching over to another person at the very ending, let's say 10% of the video. That's actually what we did in this case. The female voice only came in at the end of the video, and the reason why I did that was you got to think about what makes sense to your consumer. At a medical or a doctor's office, usually what do you have? Male doctor, female receptionist. Well, we had the end of the video where the call to action is have a female voice, because it sounds more like having what you would be used to seeing in a medical office, to give that person a sense of, hey, this is familiar. This is like a medical treatment at a real medical office. So it's more familiar. I believe it more. I trust it more. So that's partially why I think it worked as well, using both. At least having the call to action ask part of the video read by a female, whereas the rest of it was read by a male, because you trust a male doctor. If you don't trust a male doctor to take your order, because that doesn't make sense, if that makes sense. So anyway, you don't have to do just male and female, though. It just depends on your circumstance or what market and what you're selling. You can have multiple male on your video or multiple female, and you could obviously do more than 2 voices, but for the most part 2 voices is good, because your commercial is never going to be longer than like 90 seconds. Once you get past 90 seconds for an ad, very tough to get that to work. Why? Because not enough people will get to the end of the video, and then therefore if they don't get to the end of the video, like I was saying before, they can't click through to get to your landing page. So 30 seconds to 90 seconds is where it's at. More so closer to 30 seconds, unless you're selling something really complicated, will work the best. So do you do male-male or male-female or female-female? That'll depend on your market, but to give you some other examples here of how we got this to work and where we improved our results, we had a luxury mailbox that we sell that's very expensive, designer, if you will, mailbox. And we went from just one male by itself narrating the script to 2 males. And we used different accents. We started with a British accent at the start of the video, and then we switched over to an American accent about halfway through, doing the 50-50 approach. And we got our ROI really, it was great to see that we were able to get our ROI to go up 97% just doing that one individual thing. The reason why I think that works, by the way, which is a technique, and the reason why I picked this out for you to use and to mention, is British accents seem more trustworthy. A lot of people use British accents for people when you're doing cold calling and stuff like that because it lets your guard down. So if you start out with a British accent in the beginning on something where you don't have a lot of trust, it's a new concept, it's a great idea. And this was not a new concept, so it goes along with that. And that's why I picked the British accent to be on the first part of the video, because I knew coming back to this, 2 voices would do better. When I figured out 2 voices usually do better, I went back to old clients and started that were doing video ads already, or video marketing already, and video pay-per-click on YouTube, and started redoing the current video that does the best, and trying to improve their numbers with another video with multiple voice actors on it. But that was what we did there. And then another example here, we sold a golf aid that helps you, I can't say the exact product, that would give away the exact client strategy, and then obviously they'd be pissed off at me. But we had a golf aid, that where for a product like that, we were able to get 204% increase in ROI. But there's a little bit more to it than like what I talked about before. In this particular instance, going back with to make his video better after learning multiple voices will do better than a single voice on a typical video. What we did was, instead of having the script just read by, narrated by one person, about midway through the video in that particular case, we had what looks like a customer reading part of the script, which is a very clever way, I'll pat myself on the back for that one, to do your breakup of having your second person read the script. So, getting into the benefits, what happened was this product, will actually make it easier and drop, how many strokes from your game because of this, this, and this. And then it goes into the customer. I like the product, and it dropped my score also because of that, but also because of this, this, and this. So when it got to the part of the video where we're talking about the reasons why it gets the results for the user, because the start of the video, you talk about what the benefit is. This will drop 10 strokes off of your round every round. And then you get into why, and then the benefits, if you will, of the product and backing up why it gets those results. And then you get into the benefits, you talk about, it almost seems like that if a customer is telling you about the benefits, they're giving you a testimonial, even though they're just reading off that script, if you get my point here. So it's an interesting way to work in a second person, but because it looks like a customer, at least looks like, it really wasn't even a customer that was actually there on the video ad, but it looks like a customer telling you the benefits to you, it automatically makes it more trustworthy, because statistically this has been tested many times before, but what somebody else says about you is 4 times more believable and trusted than what you can say about yourself. That's why anymore, if you can do it, you want to put in your advertising stuff where people are saying something about you and focus on that, because it's so much of that 4 times more believable than what you can say about yourself stat or whatever you want to call it. So with that said, and knowing about that as well, instead of just going and switching up, having 2 voice actors and not switching up the visuals, we actually had the visuals switched up so that when it got to that part of the script where that so-called what looked like a customer was reading the script, you know, it looked like the customer was about ready to take a swing of their golf club, and then they started reading part of the script, and then it goes back to the original person again after that person read their part of the script, if you will. So it was, you know, showing some random visuals about how the product works and all that, read by the tradition, you know, the main narrator, then switched to what looked like a customer that was using it, reading part of the script, and then back to the original narrator to read the rest of the script and have the call to action at the end and so forth. That was the cadence of what we did in that particular case, but I was also completely floored when I saw it increase results that much. It was already a good ad, but it worked extremely well after switching up and adding what looked like a real customer reading off part of the script. So that's a method I would absolutely recommend for you to use as well. Have a customer reading off the script, or what looks like a customer at the very least. And for all practical purposes, I don't think it has to be a real customer. You're not even saying that they're a customer. It's not like you're lying to them. It's just make it look like it's a customer reading the script. And furthermore, part of, just to add in there, why I think it also helped is going back to what I was said before about, it seems like when you do multiple narrators on your video script and who's reading the script itself for the audio, that the more different the people that are reading, the better it works, because it obviously seems like you have a greater consensus effect there. We had somebody who was older that looks like a customer reading that part of the script versus the original narrator was, you could obviously tell they were significantly younger. Not like 18-year-old and a 50-year-old, but like a 35-year-old and a 50-year-old, where you could clearly tell, you know, obviously that person reading the primary part of the script that you didn't actually see in the video was younger, significantly younger than the person that looked like the mock customer who was visually there in the video for their part of the script that they were reading as well. So anyway, just thought I would mention that as well. So this gives you some general ideas of how to execute this strategy for yourself. You can do male, female, different accents. You could do, hell, you could even do different languages if you had subtitles on the video. That's something I haven't tried before. Different ages. You could have one person has a high-pitched voice, a low-pitched voice, maybe do well with that. One person that speaks fast, another person that speaks slower. There's all kinds of different ways you could test and try doing this. For the most part, if you go to like voices.com or just go to Fiverr, you could get more people to read off your script and just try different, you know, male versus female, young, old, by itself. But if you're going to go test that, because it almost always works, I would recommend, if you're going to test your narrator, don't just test a different individual narrator, test a different narrator but only reading part of the script, and sandwich the original narrator that you have now that's on your best performing ad that you have now, and then have a second person reading at least part of the script so that you have 2 narrators in there, because that has a much more likelihood of pushing up your ROI for that video ad than just having a different narrator reading it, because of the power of having the multiple narrators on the actual video. So with that said, I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hey, I'd really appreciate it though if you've seen a lot of value out of this video, that you give the video a like. Put a lot of time and effort into these videos on this channel, and I really would appreciate and do appreciate your help in getting the video out there, but just simply giving the video a like. And furthermore, if you can comment down below if you have any questions about video marketing, the stuff I talked about here with the multiple narrations on your video ads to make your results better, or if you have any ad related questions on like anything that you're doing with running ads for your company, I'd love to hear from you in the comment section, and love to get back to my viewers and answer your questions on the comment section, just for simply taking the time and being willing to watch the videos on my channel. I'll get back to you. I usually get back to everybody who comments on my channel within a couple days time. As a side, if you do already know of my channel, watch my channel, subscribe to my channel, if you like the channel, you'll also love my blog that I write as well at guaranteedppc.com/blog. You can find my written content on how to make money with online ads or make more money with your ads, as well as I have a written column at entrepreneur.com where you can follow my written content there as well, which is also very good and will help you make a ton more money. And to keep abreast of the current stuff that's going on and that's changing in the world of online advertising, which is always obviously changing, and need to stay on top of what's working today. Won't necessarily always work tomorrow. It's always changing. There's always a new hot strategy that nobody's caught on to yet that you want to know about. Beyond that though, if you are looking for an ad manager though to get you results on your ad campaigns, I promise you that I am the best person that you can find to do your strategy, that you will be able to find at least. And why can I say that with such confidence is we actually are the only agency that I know of that does pay on performance, pay-per-click / online advertising management, where we don't charge you a fee until you get more sales results on your campaigns or get a certain minimum result on a campaign that you're looking to start up. We only take on so many different clients though. I know how to pick the winners, so to say, but if you want to see if we can work together, I'd love to hear from you at guaranteedppc.com. If you go to my website, I'll be happy to give you a free analysis, tell you what I would do, and if we can work together, I'll give you some estimates as to what we can get you at each stage and what we can promise you up front. So that analysis though is free, regardless of whether we work together or not. So I'd love to hear from you if you reach out to me on my site or through my site. Beyond that, if you are looking for an ad manager to just take the reins on what you have and get you the best damn results that's available to you in this market, we also sell the templates that work for a number of different industries. If we worked in your industry, basically, what we could do for you is offer you the ad templates, landing page templates, funnel templates that we've already found works for your market and charge a one-time fee for these templates. I could promise you the amount of time and money you're going to put in to figure all the stuff out that we found out for your market already is going to well eclipse the charge that we charge, one-time charge, to get you the templates that we already know works in your market already to use. And you can literally copy paste results into your ad accounts to get the same or similar results as we're getting in your industry already within a very short period of time. So if you're interested in that type of thing, you can reach out to us and we'll let you know if we basically already worked in your market already. I've worked in over 100 markets before, so the chances are high that we have gotten results in your market already. And I can tell you what results we've gotten in your market so you would know what's available to you if you were to take us up on our offer there. So reach out to me if you're interested in that as well. A lot of people are taking advantage of those templates as it's a relatively cheap cost to obtain them from us. So with that said though, I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in my next video where we have another great strategy for you then. See you later.